Get ready for more financial insights from Northern California's favorite retirement income planners, Dan Ahmad and Jim Files, owners of Peak Financial Freedom Group. For more information, go to peakfin.com.
Well, welcome to the Peak Financial Freedom Hour. You're here with Dan Ahmed and Jim Files, and we are the owners, the founders of Peak Financial. Our whole goal is to provide you information, education that'll allow you to make a lot better decisions with your money. And we think that's key because people are so worried about their money. We work in the Northern California area, and we have clients all over the United States because sometimes we get referred to them, sometimes they move. But we work with a lot of clients, but our whole client base ends up being retirees or people just getting ready to retire. That's our specialty. We don't work with anybody outside of that. You can always call us for a free consultation, and we'll be glad to help you. Our typical clients usually have $1 million or more of assets, $1 million to $5 million of assets, but we can work with you as long as you have $500,000 or more, and we'll be glad to answer some questions for you. All you got to do is dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say the keyword money. We always like to start off with that because people go, how in the heck do we get in touch with you guys? Pound 250 and use the keyword money on your cell phone. You can also listen to our podcast, listen to our previous shows, whether it is our radio show or our TV show that you might have seen as well. We also have a really cool YouTube channel that you can check out our videos and a lot of information. You can subscribe and get a lot of data there. There's no cost. And again, don't hesitate to call us with the questions you have, because we always love to help the people that are listening to us. We're going to give you a quick overview of today's show. We're going to start with a really cool, I think it's perfect quote of the week. Jim's going to do that for us. And then we're going to look at what we think is some huge information right now. And that's the new tax brackets thresholds for 2024. Everyone's always worried about getting killed with taxes. And then we're going to look at what is the one change you can make that can significantly reduce the fees inside of your portfolio. So important for people because no one knows what they're paying, but they know they need to reduce their fees. How about 2 important rules for managing your money in retirement? That would make it very simple for you, right? Not 32 rules, but just 2 rules. And then we always like to do some type of a problem solver inside of this. Could be like a case study, but in this case, we're going to talk about, do you have a stray 401k or do you have a 401k that's not behaving? Do you have a misbehaving 401k? And we like to talk about that. And then we always will wrap up with really what's it like to work with us versus other people out there. So Jim, I'm glad you're here today. Glad that you had a wonderful holiday season, and just wanted to check, what would you start with as far as probably the best quote we can use right now being the new year?
Well, Dan, this is great for kind of a New Year's resolution. This quote is, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret to getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming task into smaller, manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one. And that was quoted by Mark Twain.
Well, and you think about what that's saying, because for, a new year, and by the way, Happy New Year. Hopefully everyone had good holidays. It kind of pinpoints one of the problems people probably have noticed themselves, the listeners, and that is they don't have a plan. And they don't have a plan probably because they didn't know where in the heck to start. And it seems like Mark Twain's starting here, seems like everything's so complex, it's overwhelming. What in the heck do I do? But I think that's kind of like one of the things that one of our mentors, David Christie, says, and that is, how do you eat an elephant? And you do it one bite at a time. And that's the only way you could ever eat a whole elephant, right? Same thing when it comes to planning. You got to do it one little piece at a time. And then guess what? You have a plan designed.
Well, it's really, this quote is really hits home because so many people have so many things that they want to get done through the course of the day or the course of the year. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions, others don't. But it's really tough to get started sometimes. And we find in financial planning, particularly if you're getting close to retirement or in retirement, we believe you better have a plan. And I think the plan goes back to this quote, and that's starting with the first thing that's most important to you. And if you're getting ready to retire, the most important to you is making sure you don't run out of money, right? Because when you generate income in retirement, you have to make sure that's going to replace your paycheck and accomplish all your goals. And people need to put that in first place if they're getting close to retirement, Dan.
I think you just said it perfectly, because what happens is people listening right now, retirees, people getting ready to retire, feel overwhelmed by the amount of data, the type of data, the lingo, the words that they hear about their money. and it scares them and they have anxiety. And it's all because it creates uncertainty. And that uncertainty is what makes it where they might not sleep very well at night. It's that uncertainty. And our goal, our job is to delete as much uncertainty as possible, because once you can minimize the uncertainty, it makes retirement feel a lot better. It's a happy retirement. You feel comfortable spending money, etc. And, one of the things we always talk about is, what do we do? And we are like doctors of money. And you come in and you have issues. You have your money or your finances have illnesses, or they have, certain things that aren't necessarily working right. And we always talk about that. It's like doctors, right? And we always ask the clients, ultimately, do you know more than your doctor about medicine? Do you know more than your lawyer about law or your accountant about taxes? And you don't. So it's the same thing when it comes to financial planning, because you have to have a very, very capable expert financial planner, but not a financial planner specific, but a retirement income planner, just what you talked about. And if you have an advisor that specializes in managing your portfolio, that might be like a brain surgeon. They might be an awesome brain surgeon, but a retirement income planner might be more like a heart surgeon. And you can't use your brain surgeon to operate on your heart, right? You have to find that heart surgeon, which is a retirement income planner.
Dan, it's so interesting because there's a lot of people that manage their own money, and kudos go to you. That's wonderful. But most people kind of stay the course, right? They'll pick a few stocks or a few funds. They might make some adjustments. It's usually too late when they do make those adjustments. The market's already changed, and they think they can be as effective as an advisor. And I'm not saying some people can't be as effective as an advisor. I mean, if you do lots and lots of research and you spend 7, 8, 9 hours a day like we do, yes. But this is our profession. This is all we do. Whether you're a person that manages your own money or you have a 401k plan where you kind of just set it and it just kind of rides along, or you already have an advisor, I think we can show you some things that you probably haven't seen before.
Well, think about what you just said. And again, if you didn't want to talk to us, just call pound 250 on your cell phone to say the keyword money, but maybe expand on what every single person that comes in and talks to us says. And that is, I don't have enough time or expertise to manage my own money because I'm working my butt off 40, 60, 80 hours a week making the money. I don't have enough time to manage it. And then they don't feel like their money is currently being managed by their current advisor.
Well, Dan, a lot of people, what they do is they kind of stay the course. They'll pick some funds and they'll just kind of stay in those funds. And we don't believe that's a viable and workable plan when you get ready to retire or in retirement, because the markets are going to change radically over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And if you're using your assets for income, it's different than just investing your assets. So you have to make sure that when you have your money invested for retirement, that you are using very specific strategies and very specific financial instruments to make sure that you don't have large, what we call drawdowns or losses in your portfolio. And that can only be accomplished by lots of research using very specific types of programs and instruments to make that happen.
Well, and you said the two main key things that I think retirees and people getting ready to retire are really worried about. Number one, how am I going to create income that's going to last for as long as I live, that won't run out? And how do I avoid a huge market loss? Because they know intuitively, without even understanding finances, they know if they ran out of income, the retirement's not going to succeed. They know right now, at retirement right now or getting ready to retire, if they suffer a big loss, there's no way they're going to succeed, because those two things will blow the possibility of success for retirement out of the water. It just won't work. And we see people come in all the time that have those fears, and it makes it where they can't sleep that well.
Yeah, Dan, what they do is a lot of people follow the advice of the internet or Wall Street or CNN or the talking heads on TV. But you remember, those folks that are preaching how you invest, they're thinking you're going to live for an eternity, kind of like a pension fund, right? Where you can write it out, because eventually we do believe the markets will come back. But how long will it take for markets to come back? And how much suffering do you have to go through if you lose a substantial sum of money when you're getting close to retirement?
And they just don't have time on your side any longer. You don't have time on your side.
If you're worried about taxes, you're worried about planning, it's really easy to get a hold of us. Just dial pound 250 on your cell phone, say the keyword money. Typically, we work with people that have between $1 million or more of investable assets. But if you have at least $500,000 of investable assets, we'd be happy to talk to you to see if we can.
The Peak Financial Freedom Show with Jim and Dan. For more information about Peak Financial, go to our website, peakfin.com.